So what is pipeline management? This is for those of you that are new to remote sales, high ticket sales, and you keep hearing this word pipeline management. You have no idea what the heck people are talking about. Essentially, pipeline management is you being responsible for the leads that have been given to you in remote sales, in high ticket sales. If you're with a good company, typically there's some form of marketing that is being done, which is attracting leads, attracting prospects, attracting people that have an interest in what you are selling. And those leads are being passed off to you at various stages in the sales process. And your role will determine where in the process you are picking up those leads and for how long and for what duration of the process you are responsible for those leads. So for example, if you are an appointment setter, the person who's responsible for calling those leads, texting those leads, emailing those leads, having a conversation about initial interest, and then booking them into a conversation with the closer to finalize the deal, collect payment, make the offer, get contracts signed, all that stuff, and then passing it on to the delivery team. If you're the appointment setter, the person, which is in the name, responsible for setting the appointments, your pipeline management responsibilities start from the lead first coming into the company, whether it's you going and getting them, depending on the type of role you have. You might have the responsibility, if you're being paid, to source the leads, or maybe the leads are coming in through advertising or YouTube content like this, where people like click in the description and submit their information. Your responsibility is picking up that lead from the origin that the company has kind of designed in their sales system, and then managing them to the point of setting for the closer, and them getting and then them actually having the conversation with the closer. And that's where your kind of handoff is. Obviously, you can tag team with the closer and not just like totally forget about them after, but typically that's where the closer would then pick up that responsibility. And the way you actually manage that pipeline would depend on how you're going to nurture people, but that can be mainly following up with people that you've called that asked you to call them later, keeping them tracked in what's called a CRM, customer relationship manager. So that's usually like a software of some sorts where you can see all of the leads, all their information, you can write notes on them, and you're keeping track of like, okay, these are the people I've called, these are the people that haven't picked up, these are the people that have picked up, these are the people that picked up and said, call me back later. These are the people I set that are supposed to talk to the closer next week, this week, in the next couple of days. And you're keeping track of where everyone is in that process until the point of handoff with the closer. And some people you're going to call, you're going to have a conversation, you're going to set them, they're going to show up, and it's going to be a clean system. But again, some people that say, call me back later. Some people that say, I'll be available this time. Some people that say, I'm looking more into this in the next week or two. You're going to keep track of those people. That way, all of the appointments you're setting are not just the one and dones of call to set, call to set. Some are call to set. A portion of them are callbacks. A portion of them are, texting, whatever it is. That's you managing your pipeline. And then as the closer, similarly, everyone that the setter passes off to you, people that have been booked into your calendar, that's where you're picking up the responsibility, and you're managing that pipeline where some people, you get on the call, you get on Zoom, whatever, you have a conversation, they're a good fit, they've got the money, they buy the product or service. This is where pipeline management becomes a lot more complex for the closer, because you have some people that are closing right now. Cool. You pass them off to the delivery team. Maybe you check in on them, ask for referrals, all that stuff. Cool. Great. Awesome. We wish everyone was like that. But then there's some that say, hey, I got to think on it. Let's talk tomorrow. Some you follow up with next week. Some I got to talk to, whatever the reasoning are. There's some that you're following up with next week, next month, 3 months from now, 6 months from now. And you're keeping track of where everyone is in the process and managing that relationship until the point of handoff, which is when you close them and you hand them off to whether it's a CSM, client success manager, account manager, whoever is responsible for the next step, which is actually delivering the product or service. That is your pipeline management. And what's really good about this, you want to get good at this, because especially as a closer, when you get really good at this, you no longer have to chase one call closes all the time. So for example, if you have a decent close rate and you're closing at 30%, right? And that means you talk to 10 people, you close 3 of them, like clockwork, all the time. You close 3 of them. 10 calls, 3 close. 10 calls, 3 close. 10 calls, 3 close. Now, let's say you also have good pipeline management where the other that didn't close, 2 of the other people that didn't close out of the 10 are like follow-ups, are people that you could nurture, you can send them content, you can stay in touch with them, and you could close them over time. Maybe it takes a month, maybe it takes 2 months. Now your close rate could become 50% or 60% just by doing follow-up management and pipeline management and making sure that you stay in touch with people. Not only that, but it eliminates some of the anxiety and pressure of being like, if I slip up, if I miss and I don't get my 3 out of 10, now I've dipped below, right? Let's say the standard of the team is 30%. Instead of just being at the standard, now you're like, and now you've got to be on your ball, on your game every single time. Because if you're consistently closing at a certain point, 3 out of 10, if you have an off day, now all of a sudden it's 2 out of 10. Now it's 1 out of 10. And now you got to make up for it, right? The cool thing about pipeline management is you're not starting from 0 every month, because you've got 1, 2, 5, 10, 20 people that you're nurturing, that you're talking to. And now you're closing 3 up front. And then what I would do when I was a closer is I would close a couple deals every month just by sending checkout links through text message, because I was nurturing and I was continuing certain conversations with people I spoke to in the past. Some people were coming back and being like, hey, now I'm ready. Some people were giving, referrals. Some people were like, hey, okay, I've got the money saved. And you had your 3 up front, but then you had 4, 5, 6 throughout the month that you were just eventually, as your pipeline gets fuller and stacks up, that you're just closing through checkout links, quick 5-minute conversations on the phone. And it just makes the job overall less stressful. Some people like the chase of just consistently being on the hamster wheel of closing up front only, and they ignore everyone afterwards. But I seriously believe that you're leaving a ton of cash on the table if you don't manage your pipeline. So if this is the first time you're ever hearing about it, look into it, study it, learn how to get good at nurturing and managing your pipeline. But essentially that's what pipeline management is. It's just taking care of the leads you're responsible for for the long term, until you can pass them on to the next stage, until it's a definite yes or a definite no in the process that you were given. That being said, I'll leave you here for this video. Have a good one.